How many of you read Disrupting Class in this room? You've read Clayton Christensen's Disrupting Class. You got to go get that book, right? So what he says in the book, he's a world-class innovator, and he wrote this for education. He says that by 2020, half of all U.S. students will learn online in school. And you say, well, where does he get that data? In 2000, 40,000 students were learning online at the high school level. 40,000. At the Virtual School Symposium that I just attended in the fall, 4.1 million online. So some part of the kid's day is now taken over technology as a major integrator, right? Now, how does that affect schools? How does it affect that list that you created? And how does it affect the traits that we're looking for? Well, in 1996, we thought we had the answer. In comes Clinton and Gore. And they threw a bunch of computers in the classroom, and they thought, well, if you do that, things will change, right? If you just give kids devices, and you cram all these computers in there, teachers and kids will start interacting differently. But that didn't change. So in 2000, what we did cooler computer cramming, right? So what's interesting about these pictures is that not only are they still in the industrial role, but if you look over on the right picture, those posters on the board are not student work, they're Apple product posters. So as I go around to DoDEA schools, as I go around to schools globally and around the United States, I'm always interested at what's on the walls, what the teachers think is driven by student-directed learning, and what actually to me looks like adult-centric learning. So as we start to have these conversations about the needed changes, the same thing is happening right now with iPads and devices. So I'll go to a district and they'll say, Brian, you'll be proud of us. We bought 5,000 iPads. Well, what are you doing on them? Oh, we haven't figured that out yet, but we got the devices, right? They're making the same mistake that they made in 96 and 2000. So here's what's starting to happen. Lots of places are working on collaboration at different levels, both with technology and with blended services. Lots of places are talking about good old-fashioned whiteboards and putting them on different walls so kids can have different spaces to collaborate. If you go into the offices at Google, Netflix, Apple, you won't see rows and you won't see industrial models of office spaces. You go into any Department of Education in the U.S., you'll see the opposite, okay? So, how do we start thinking together in a collaborative way? Well, what we've started to discover is that if we can change the habits in these institutions, and we can flex the habitats, we can think a little bit about what this is and what it is not. Do you know why the open classroom movement of the 70s failed? Not because of the concept, but because nobody supported it with PD, nobody supported it with planning. They tried to do it in the same way they'd always taught in new spaces. That's not what this is. And people in this decade, for 10 years or more, are doing some very interesting things around how they use the building and how they use each other in different